Coming up on Rob on the Road, did you know there once was a thriving farm town, now at the bottom of Lake Berryessa? Join me as we discover an exhibit that explores the hidden history of Monticello. Plus a powerful story of survival and beating the odds with the owners of Smash Sacramento, a rage room designed to release stress. And Rob on the rails? Check out this one-of-a-kind train track excursion through Yolo County on specially designed rail bikes. Plus, dive into Amatoria Fine Art Books, a Midtown Sacramento treasure trove where books are celebrated and given new life. Rob on the Road starts now.
Wow!
And now, Rob on the Road, exploring Northern California.
We are in Winters, California at the Winters Museum, and inside is a story of a hidden gem. When you go by Lake Berryessa, did you know that underneath the water used to be a town? It's called Monticello, and the story is inside here. In its prime, Monticello was a thriving community, home to about 500 people in the 1940s and early 50s. But you could say Monticello died young. A sister city to Winters, the Monticello Valley was a rich agricultural hub and even home to one of the largest rodeos of its time.
This museum shows a really deeply rooted chapter in a lot of people's lives. You see them in the pictures. You see some of the last people leaving.
Yeah.
You see homes being moved out. You see families walking away from their property. And you see even cemeteries being dug up and moved. It's an emotional exhibit.
It is, and I think those people that came back to visit the graves after they were moved, that was sort of the beginning of the museum, because those families that returned, I mean, it was like a diaspora. All these people had been scattered all over to, Napa, Fairfield, Esparto, Winters, and every year, just about the time they used to have the rodeo, they would come back at the cemetery, and they would have a big picnic, and they'd bring pictures, and they would tell old stories of Monticello.
Those stories live on thanks to Remembering Monticello, a display of memories from days gone by inside Winters Museum.
There's also a lot of joy here because you get to reminisce, so it's bittersweet.
Yeah, I feel like we've recreated a community.
Got Henry's hat, my grandpa's hat, and my dad's hat. They're kind of like the storytellers for me growing up.
These hats and the signs are as close to home as you can get for sisters Carol McGinnis Fitzpatrick and Barbara McGinnis Hansen. Barbara was the youngest and last person to leave Monticello in 1956, when the town was claimed by eminent domain and demolished, making way for the Monticello Dam and the construction of Lake Berryessa.
Right here, tell me about this.
This is my brother Ron, my grandfather, and this is the house that my grandfather built and raised his family in Monticello.
When you look at these things, what do you feel when you see these pictures that were right here in you and right here?
Uprooted.
Yeah. Is it emotional?
Oh, very, yes.
Because I still see, when you talk about it, I still see the tears in your eyes. I see water.
Yeah.
Has creating this helped or hurt?
It helped because it's like telling the rest of the story. Is when everybody left, all the relatives and friends, they all had to go and move everywhere else, and now that people are coming back in, we're finding new relatives and stories that are put together now.
I think what we're trying to show here is that impact was quite severe. That impact, they paid a heavy price for it. They lost a community, and we're trying to recreate that for people to appreciate.
And here's the valley, Berryessa Valley. And all of that is filled with water.
That's right, yeah. Probably 150 feet underwater.
Monticello, named after the home that Thomas Jefferson built, Monticello, was incorporated in 1866, and within a decade, the town was off and running.
What are some of your favorite things that you discovered along the way in here?
I'm glad you asked. My favorite thing, I mean, it's sort of like my little thing. Dorothy Lang was commissioned by Life magazine to do a study of the destruction of the town. And she took 185 photos. Perkle Jones took around 2,000 photos.
Wow.
The two of them went up there, and little by little they started documenting what was going on as people were moving out. And so they did a very professional, very dramatic group of photographs that are compelling, they're dramatic, they're obviously because the people at that time understood what was going on.
Life magazine never published the images, but all of them are here at the museum and online at the Winters Enterprise newspaper.
When you go by Lake Berryessa, when you drive around and you can see it, you see the big glory hole there in the middle and the dam and everything, this was underneath. The valley was underneath.
Well, it's an untold story that most people who do drive by have no clue.
What is the main thing you want those people to know?
That, you know, water is a commodity that's, you can live without oil, but you can't live without water, so I get it. But we paid a price for that, and some people paid more than others. I think they should recognize that, and they should remember Monticello.